Hi there, this is Nathan Thompson with Pro Video Coalition. We're joined by Michael Wagner with Arri. We're going to take a look at the Skypanel S360C. And first thing, let's just say that right now this light is at 6.5%, and we're going to go ahead and take it to the tippy top.
You ready?
So take us there, Michael.
There you go.
So, okay, I'm squinting. We'll roll through some colors here. So this is a pretty special light, Michael. Give us the run through on some of the new features in all the Skypanels, and also what makes this light particularly special.
Sure, yeah. So we launched the S360 at IBC last year, and people are just falling in love with it. I mean, the super large aperture is what you really want from a soft light, and having this in the Skypanel allows you to put it at much farther distances. You could throw the light a lot farther. You have a really great soft quality of light because of that large aperture, and it's super bright, as you just saw. So this is a 1600 watt power draw. It's 4 times brighter than the S60 is, so that's about the same as if an 8000 watt tungsten soft light. So it's got a lot of punch to it. You can still change out the diffuser, so this is a standard diffusion. We also have an intensifier which would increase the output by about 50% because it's refocusing some of that light. So we've got a ton of accessories for it. And it's just, it allows the Skypanel to be used in a very different application. You could put this on a condor or on a crane and light a street with it. And we've seen a lot of our customers starting to do that already since they've been getting into the field. Where they might even be replacing an M18 or an M40 with one of these because they don't have to put a diffusion in front of it. They could just use this as their source.
It has that built-in diffusion.
Right.
It probably makes some rigging even more simple, and you still have the brightness levels. Can you talk a little bit about how you do rig this and how it's set up to still be stable even though it's so big?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things we made a new carbon fiber yoke. So it's a very lightweight yoke that but it's still super strong. And it has a 28 millimeter or a junior pin on it, and a lot of guys are just putting the pipe clamps up in the condors or in their rigs. We have another yoke that goes around the back, which allows you, if you're hanging it from a ceiling, you don't want to have the depth of the yoke. It kind of the short yoke just goes right along the back of the fixture, so that you can hang it and not have a lot of distance between your rigging point and the surface of the fixture. So there's lots of different ways to rig it. We have the handles on here, so if you needed extra rigging points or extra pieces, something to carry it or hold it or rig it, we have safety holes in the feet and everything like that. So even though it is large and seems unwieldy, it's actually quite easy. In fact, a lot of our customers have called it a very intimate light because you can put it very close to your talent and you're not, making them too hot, or it doesn't feel like it's too bright. You can bring the intensity down and it still holds that color point. So even though it's very big and they are using it very far away, you could also use it very close to the talent as well.
It's interesting. There's something it is a huge fixture, but it's almost less intimidating than your hard, pointy sources. It's interesting.
And of course, because it's a Skypanel, we have all of that versatility built into it. So you could select color in basically any way that you want. We have the lighting effects built in. You could fully DMX this. And at this show, we're announcing a new firmware 4. So this is our 4th major firmware since we launched the Skypanel. And with all of our firmwares, we are always adding new functionality. So it's not just bug fixes or little things. We're actually enabling the fixture to do something that it couldn't do when you bought it. And that's what we try to do with our firmware, and firmware 4 is no different. So we've got 10 new features built into that. One of the features which is really great on the S360 is what we call DMX light engine control. So DMX light engine, every Skypanel is made up of 1 or more light engines. The S360 has 12 light engines inside of it. So with those 12 light engines, you could program your own effect over the surface of it. You could pixel map the light engines inside and run video content over it if you wanted to do that. So it really enables a lot of more control for the DMX programmer to take the Skypanel and make it into something else. You can imagine, if I wanted to, I can only light up half of this panel if I wanted to, or just the bottom row, or whatever I wanted to, and make it whatever color I want as well. So that's going to be really great for programmers.
I think I saw somebody build, it might not have been the S360, but I think I saw a massive array of Skypanels that was literally a sunset
Right.
where they could have the sun coming up
Yeah.
and to give that huge source effect.
And what we want to do is we just want to build in the tools that allow creatives to, use their imagination to do whatever they want with it. I mean, we have ideas of how people use it, but what we love to see is when they're using it in a way that we never thought of before. When they're taking this and, you find a good console programmer, and the stuff that they're going to be able to do with this is going to be amazing. And because it's that nice soft source, it looks very realistic on talent. So instead of using something like a video wall, you don't need that resolution when you're lighting someone. You might want to have some kind of an effect or movement of light or dynamic lighting. A video wall typically isn't the best source for that. Something like this that is already soft and that's going to look good on skin tones and on actors, that's really what you want to do. And so we were trying to enable a lot of that for the customer.
And for people who have used the other models of the Skypanels, will the functionality of this be pretty familiar?
It's exactly the same, yeah. We try to keep all of the user interface, all of that control options exactly the same so that you can walk up to any of the Skypanels and use them the same way. One of the other new features, which is one of my favorites, is what we call extended color control. So, as you know, we have the ability to select colors in many ways, right? We have CCT mode, HSI, gel mode, XY coordinate mode. So we have all these different ways of selecting color, but we also wanted to give people a way of adjusting that color in a very intuitive and human way. So we came up with extended color control, and basically it's 8 parameters that you could adjust. So let's say you pick an RGBW color, you move those sliders around, and now the DP says, hey, I want to make it a little bit warmer. Well, how do you do that? Well, with extended color control, it makes it very easy. With one parameter is warm or cooler. So you can take any color that you want and you can move this parameter up or down and make that color point warmer or cooler. We also have saturate and desaturate, plus or minus red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, and yellow. So, when someone says, I want that light to be more yellow or it's a little bit too yellow, you don't have to do the math. The Skypanel does the math for you. And all you have to do is change one parameter and it will figure out how to manipulate the LEDs to make that light more yellow, less green, more magenta, whatever you want. You could tweak it that way. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Because the camera sees color different than our eyes see it sometimes. Sure. So even if it looks right to the eye, there's still that fine tuning to get it perfect.
Right. You want to tweak it a little bit and create it, and sometimes it can be a daunting task to figure out how to do that. Or maybe you have to know a really good programmer, but now it's on. You could do that with a control panel or through DMX and get really great results, really fast results too, right? On film sets, we don't have a lot of time to really futz with things too much. So you want to get to that color that you want really quickly, and extended color allows you to do that.
And so, we've talked about the extended color. Even some of like the fire effects and things like that, those are really applicable for effects for certain scenes. Are there a couple new effects as well?
There are, yeah. So in 3.0, we had pre-programmed 12 effects in, and 4, we're adding 4 additional effects. So the 4 additional effects is we have explosion, and with explosion you could change the decay time of the explosion, so you could have something very short like a muzzle flash from a firearm. You could have a longer decay, so that's more like a fireball. And so you could manipulate that, and of course you could have it in whatever color that you want. We also have fluorescent flicker effect, so it mimics the a malfunctioning ballast of a fluorescent bulb. We have a process effect. So the process effect basically sends light shooting down the surface of the Skypanel, and you could put that above a car, to the side of a fake car, and get that effect of a street light passing overhead. And
you can dial in the color of that and everything. So if you want sodium vapor.
Right. And so we have source matching colors in the light, so you could actually select the already programmed in low pressure sodium vapor light, select that effect, and you have a very realistic process effect going on. And the last one is welding. So we have a welding effect built into it as well, and you could adjust the speed of that and the minimum intensity value. So if you wanted a steady stream of light with a few flashes, you could do that, or a lot of flashes, you could customize it in that way. And again, pick any color that you want. If you want to have a warmer sparks, if you will, or cooler, you could choose that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, I'm going to say this is a pretty impressive light, and honestly, I think we probably look pretty good in front of it.
Right.
So thanks for your time, Michael.
No problem. Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
joining us.